What you say?
Mommy's sleeping.
Yeah, mommy's supposed to be studying too.
So the video that I posted at the beginning of this thing is usually how I end up looking when I'm studying and during one of my naps that I kind of like fell asleep on my notes. Then I wake up and start studying again. Hey YouTube, this is Monique and I have time for another video. So I decided to record two. You guys got a special, awesome. So welcome to Glasshouse, Life of an SRNA. So this video that I would like to do is about like studying. So people always ask me, how do you study? What are some study tips once you're in a program? It doesn't matter what kind of program, but specifically for CRNA school, that's what I usually get questions for. So the first thing I would say is that you need to know your learning style, or kind of get comfortable and figuring it out pretty quick, because that's what kind of helps you. So for me, my learning style is I'm very visual and I have to hear. And I do not do well when I take notes on my laptop. So I'm like a writer. Pretty much I need to hear the teacher say it. I need to see the PowerPoint up on the white screen. And then I need to write out what they say. And that's how it all connects for me. And then when I need to redo it, sometimes I listen to lectures. But listening to lectures don't necessarily help me because I usually get most of the information that I needed to get from it the first time. But there are things that other people might get. So I have like a person that I study with, and we like read the PowerPoints out loud. And that sounds so corny and cheesy, but for some reason it like help. Like some people will hear something that a teacher said, even when you listen to it like 2-3 times, that the other person doesn't hear. So that's my learning style. I've always kind of been a visual person and hearing person. I think I just compensated because I was always hard with like reading when I was younger. Like I had to go to one of those learning centers, and I think it helped me like find like my learning style. Like auditory things are a huge thing for me. So that's my first tip. And then my tip 2 would be, when you do study in study groups, preferably smaller, you get more things done. For some reason in anesthesia school, when you are studying with people, everybody wants to blurt out answers to make it look like they know what the heck's going on. And I'm just like, hey, slow down. We know you kind of know, like one person at a time. But the smaller the group, the better. I usually like studying with like no more than like 4 people. And if you do small study groups, you need to come prepared, as in you need to come kind of have an idea what the topic is. Like you've read the PowerPoint, or you've read the textbook, or you've like looked up the information or something. When you come not knowing anything and then you try to learn from a small group, it gets overwhelming, because it seems like in anesthesia school, when you're studying in small groups, it's not just to understand the small concepts, it's like to understand the entire concept. So if you don't even know like the baseline, like what the teacher talked about, when these people are going in depth, you're like, it's like over the moon over your head. Like you don't even know what they're talking about. So if you study in small groups, come prepared. Like please read PowerPoint, or else you're going to be the annoying person that doesn't know anything. And people judge you. It's sad, but they do. Next thing is, when you are studying like long sessions, please take a break. I talked a little bit about what I do when I take breaks. So my breaks consist of nap time. Yes, I nap because my brain tells me when I am tired of studying, it will not retain anything, and I'll keep reading it and keep reading it. So I watch TV. I like to call it ratchet TV. So I tend to watch things like Love and Hip Hop and stuff like that. Sometimes I watch other TV shows like How to Get Away with Murder and Blacklist. But when I'm doing my study breaks, I like to pick TV shows that like don't take any brain cells to use. Like, I know that sounds so crazy, but it just helps me like detox and like watch the madness without necessarily thinking like, why did they do that? Like just watch the madness, come back in 45 minutes and I'm ready to study. It's awesome. And when I do take naps, I usually nap for like an hour and a half, but that's usually like when I'm studying like all day. And I will sleep in the library too. Yes. And I will sleep in the coffee shop too. I don't care. I need to study, and that's just how I like reboot. So please take your breaks. And then if you're not really like a person, if you're like gonna really get distracted with long breaks like how I do, there's this little thing that we learned, like the 20/5 rule. So you study for like 20 minutes and then you take a break for 5 and come back and just kind of do that little increment. So it helps. And then The next tip that I would say is you need to find like your favorite book in anesthesia school. So it's usually Miller, Nagelhout, or Brosh. Your school will kind of tell you which one it is, and then you kind of figure out what book your teachers like, and then from there you can kind of narrow down which one you like and use that as your reference book or the one that you read. So I like to use, I don't know why I like Miller, but it's harder. It takes me forever to read the chapters, but it's like very detailed and it usually has everything. And then after that, then I usually go to the other one called Nagelhout. I like that one. But you'll figure out which one you like. Other study tips that I would say, like the basics, make sure you are organized. So usually what I do is I get my schedule at the beginning of the semester. I put it on my planner, when are each test. I tend to study more effectively for a test the week before a test. Like that's when the information becomes very concrete. So what I usually do is I try to read the PowerPoints and stuff within 24 to 48 hours after the lecture. And then I'll like try to do all my book reading and stuff then, like little snippets here and there. Because usually if I try to do the book reading within the week, I'm like, by then I'm already trying to rush to like understand all the information. I kind of get overwhelmed. So if I like read the book earlier than a week, then I'm like, okay, I write my little extra notes in a different ink color than what I wrote in class to let me know that this came from the book or from another resource. And then I go back the week before a test and just kind of like go through everything over and over. And I use YouTube videos to explain a lot of like charts and stuff like that because I'm a huge visual person and I like to hear things. It just makes it easier. I would say just making sure that you're definitely organized, that you know what's going on. And if there's any other questions that you guys have, you already know what to do. You can comment below, you can subscribe and let me know what you think. And I'm sure there's plenty of other study tips out there, but I just want to let you guys know the ones that work for me. Thanks. See you soon.